Hey there, language explorers. Welcome to another episode of Tales for Talking. I'm your host, and today we're diving into the sweet, sometimes strange history of Valentine's Day in America. So grab a chocolate heart, settle in, and let's explore how this holiday of love came to be such a big deal in the United States. Valentine's Day wasn't always about heart shaped boxes of chocolates and overpriced roses. The holiday has ancient roots that go way back to Roman times with a festival called Lupercalia. But what we celebrate today began taking shape in the Middle Ages. Let me break that down in simpler terms. Valentine's Day is very old. It started in ancient Rome with a different celebration. The Valentine's Day we know today began forming hundreds of years ago during medieval times. Some expressions you might not know. Ancient roots means something that started a very long time ago, and the Middle Ages refers to the historical period from about 500 to 1500 AD. Now, what do you think happened during those early Valentine's celebrations? Can you imagine what people did before greeting cards existed? You can pause the video now and think about your answer. A possible answer is in early celebrations, people might have exchanged handwritten notes, small gifts, or simply spent time together. There were no mass produced cards or chocolates like we have today. The Valentine's tradition, as we know it, really kicked off in America during the 1840s, thanks to a clever entrepreneur named Esther Howland. Known as the mother of the Valentine, this Massachusetts native took inspiration from English Valentine's cards and created elaborate handmade cards with lace, ribbons, and colorful pictures. Her business took off, earning her up to $100,000 annually. That's equivalent to millions today. In simpler terms, a woman named Esther Howland started making beautiful Valentine's cards in America around 1840. Her cards were very fancy with lace and ribbons. She made a lot of money selling these cards. New expressions. Kicked off means started or began, and entrepreneur means someone who starts a business. When I say something took off, it means it became very successful very quickly. What do you think made Esther's cards special compared to regular letters? Why did people want to buy them? Pause the video and think about your answer. A possible answer is Esther's cards were special because they were beautiful works of art with decorations like lace and ribbons. They were more romantic and impressive than simple letters, and people were willing to pay for them to show their affection in a special way. By the early 1900s, Valentine's Day had become fully commercialized in America. Companies like Hallmark started mass producing Valentine's cards in 1913, making it easier than ever to express your love, or at least to let a greeting card company express it for you. This era also saw the rise of other Valentine staples, heart-shaped boxes of chocolates, red roses by the dozen, and romantic dinners for two. Let me explain that more simply. Around 1900, big companies started making Valentine's cards in factories. Hallmark began making cards in 1913. People also started giving chocolates in heart-shaped boxes and red roses as Valentine's gifts. Expressions you might not know. Commercialized means turned into a business opportunity, and staples in this context means common or essential items associated with something. How do you think this commercialization changed the way people celebrated Valentine's Day? Was it a positive or negative change? Pause and consider your thoughts. A possible answer might be commercialization made Valentine's Day easier to celebrate because you could buy ready-made cards and gifts, but it also created pressure to spend money. Some people might think it made the holiday less personal because you're buying mass-produced items instead of making something yourself. Now, here's something interesting. Valentine's Day hasn't always been just for romantic lovers. In the early to mid 20th century, Americans started exchanging Valentines with friends, family members, and classmates. Remember those little paper Valentine's cards you might have given to everyone in your elementary school class? That tradition started in the 1940s when exchanging cards became a popular classroom activity. In simpler words, Valentine's Day isn't just for people who are in love. Since the 1900s, Americans have given Valentine's cards to friends and family too. Children in schools often give cards to all their classmates. New expressions. Elementary school is primary school for children aged about 11 years old. Why do you think Valentine's Day expanded to include non-romantic relationships? Do you think this is a good change? Pause and think about your answer. One possible answer is Valentine's Day probably expanded to include friends and family because companies wanted to sell more cards and gifts. It's generally a positive change because it allows everyone to participate in the holiday and celebrate all types of love and friendship, not just romantic relationships. The 1980s and 1990s saw Valentine's Day become an even bigger commercial holiday in America. Jewelry stores started promoting the day heavily, suggesting that diamonds and other precious gems were the ultimate expression of love. Restaurants created special Valentine's menus, hotels offered romantic packages, and even movie theaters got in on the action with Valentine's Day film releases. More simply, in the 1980s and 1990s, more businesses started using Valentine's Day to sell things. Jewelry stores, restaurants, hotels, and movie theaters all created special Valentine's offers. Expressions explained, got in on the action means to participate in or take advantage of an opportunity. A release in this context means making a new product, like a movie, available to the public. How might all this commercialization affect someone who is single on Valentine's Day? Pause and consider your response. A possible answer. The heavy commercialization might make single people feel left out or pressured to be in a relationship. They might feel sad seeing all the marketing focused on couples, or they might feel financially relieved that they don't need to buy expensive gifts. Speaking of being single on Valentine's Day, Americans have developed some interesting alternative celebrations. Galentine's Day, celebrated on February 13th, became popular after being featured on the TV show Parks and Recreation in 2010. It's a day for women to celebrate their female friendships. Some singles host anti-Valentine's parties, while others embrace Self-Love Day as a time to pamper themselves. In simpler terms, not everyone celebrates Valentine's Day romantically. Some women celebrate Galentine's Day with their female friends on February 13th. Some single people have parties to celebrate being single, and others use the day to do nice things for themselves. New expressions Galentine's Day combines gal, an informal word for a woman or girl, with Valentine's. To pamper yourself means to treat yourself especially well and give yourself special care or luxuries. What are some ways someone might celebrate Self-Love Day if they're single on Valentine's? Go ahead and pause to think about your answer. A possible answer. Someone celebrating Self-Love Day might take a bubble bath, buy themselves flowers or chocolates, watch their favorite movie, Cook a special meal, get a massage, or simply take the day off to relax and do things they enjoy. Did you know that Valentine's Day has become one of the most economically significant holidays in America? Americans spend billions of dollars each year on Valentine's gifts, cards, and experiences. In recent years, average spending has reached upwards of $20 billion annually. That's a lot of chocolate hearts and teddy bears. More simply, Valentine's Day is very important for businesses in America. People spend billions of dollars every year on Valentine's gifts and activities. Expressions explained. Economically significant means important for the economy or for business. Upwards of means more than a certain amount. Why do you think people are willing to spend so much money on this holiday? Is it genuine affection, social pressure, or something else? Pause and reflect on this question. A possible answer might be people spend money on Valentine's Day for many reasons. Some genuinely want to show their love through gifts, while others might feel pressured by advertising or social expectations. Many people worry about disappointing their partners if they don't participate, and some simply enjoy the tradition of gift giving. Valentine's Day traditions in America vary widely by region and culture. In the South, it's common to give Valentine's gifts to extended family members. In cities like San Francisco, public Valentine's pillow fights have become popular. And in recent years, many Americans have embraced the Japanese tradition of women giving chocolates to men on Valentine's Day, with men reciprocating on White Day in March. In simpler terms, different parts of America celebrate Valentine's Day differently. In southern states, people give gifts to their whole family. In San Francisco, strangers have pillow fights for fun. Some Americans have started following Japanese traditions where women give men chocolate on Valentine's Day. Expressions explained. Extended family means relatives beyond your immediate family, parents, siblings, like aunts, uncles, and cousins. A pillow fight is a playful battle where people hit each other with pillows. How do you think Valentine's Day celebrations might be different in big cities compared to small towns? Pause and think about your response. A possible answer. In big cities, there might be more public events like concerts, special restaurant promotions, or community activities. Small towns might have more community-centered celebrations like dances at the town hall or special events at local schools. Cities might also have more diverse celebrations reflecting different cultural backgrounds. With the rise of technology, Valentine's Day in America has gone digital. E-cards, social media posts, and text messages have joined with traditional paper cards as ways to express affection. Dating apps report huge spikes in activity around February 14th, and virtual Valentine's dates became especially popular during the COVID-19 pandemic when many couples had to celebrate remotely. More simply, modern technology has changed how Americans celebrate Valentine's Day. Many people now send electronic cards or Valentine's messages on social media. Dating apps get very busy around Valentine's Day. During COVID-19, many people had Valentine's dates using video calls. Expressions explained, a spike in this context means a sudden increase. Remote or remotely here means from a distance, not in person. Do you think digital Valentine's greetings are more or less meaningful than traditional paper cards? Why? Take a moment to pause and consider this. A possible answer. Digital greetings might be less meaningful because they take less effort and don't last physically, but they can be more meaningful if they're personalized or if they're the only option for long-distance relationships. What matters most is probably the thought and personal message behind the greeting, not the format itself. Interestingly, Valentine's Day has also faced backlash in America. Some critics call it a Hallmark holiday, meaning it exists primarily to sell greeting cards and gifts. Environmental concerns have been raised about the waste generated from cards, packaging, and short-lived flowers. And many people feel the holiday creates unrealistic expectations and unnecessary pressure on relationships. In simpler terms, not everyone likes Valentine's Day. Some people think it was created just to make money for businesses. Others worry about the trash created by Valentine's cards and gifts. Many people feel stressed trying to make Valentine's Day perfect. Expressions explained. Backlash means a strong negative reaction. A Hallmark holiday refers to a holiday that seems to exist mainly for commercial purposes, named after Hallmark, a major greeting card company. What are some ways people could celebrate Valentine's Day that don't involve buying things or creating waste? Pause and think about your answer. A possible answer might be people could write heartfelt letters, cook a special meal at home, take a walk in a beautiful place, create a playlist of meaningful songs, offer to do chores or favors, plan a picnic, stargaze together, or simply spend quality time talking and connecting without distractions. Valentine's Day in American schools has its own fascinating evolution. In the early 20th century, classrooms began holding Valentine's exchanges as a way to teach children about friendship and kindness. By the 1950s, the practice had become widespread, with students decorating Valentine boxes to collect cards from classmates. Today, many schools have rules requiring children to bring a Valentine for every classmate if they bring any at all to ensure no child feels left out. More simply, American schools have celebrated Valentine's Day for many years. Children exchange cards with classmates. In the past, they would decorate boxes to collect these cards. Now, many schools make sure every child gets cards so no one feels sad. Expressions explained. A Valentine box is a container, often decorated by children, used to collect Valentine's cards at school. Left out means excluded or not included in an activity. Why do you think schools made rules about giving Valentines to everyone in class? Do you think this is a good idea? Pause the video to consider your thoughts. A possible answer. Schools probably made these rules to prevent some children from feeling rejected if they received few or no Valentines. This helps promote inclusivity and prevents social hierarchies from being reinforced through the Valentine exchange. It's generally a good idea because it teaches children about kindness and community, though some might argue it removes the element of choice in giving Valentines. The food traditions associated with American Valentine's Day deserve their own spotlight. While chocolate has been linked to the holiday since the late 1800s, it wasn't until 1907 that Hershey's introduced their iconic kisses wrapped in red and silver foil for Valentine's Day. Today, heart-shaped boxes of assorted chocolates remain the classic Valentine's gift, but restaurants have created their own traditions with prefix Valentine's menus, often featuring foods considered aphrodisiacs like oysters, strawberries, and champagne. More simply, food is an important part of Valentine's Day in America. Chocolate became popular in the late 1800s, and Hershey's made special Valentine's chocolates starting in 1907. Today, people still give heart-shaped boxes of chocolates. Restaurants make special Valentine's Day menus with foods thought to increase romantic feelings. Expressions explained. Prefixé, pronounced prefix, is a French term meaning a complete meal at a fixed price. Aphrodisiacs are foods believed to increase sexual desire, named after Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love. Why do you think chocolate became so strongly associated with Valentine's Day? Pause and think about your answer. A possible answer: chocolate became associated with Valentine's Day for several reasons. It's considered a luxury and indulgence, making it perfect for a special occasion. It contains compounds that can boost mood and create feelings of pleasure. Also, chocolate is easily molded into romantic shapes like hearts, and it was heavily marketed as a Valentine's gift by companies like Cadbury and Hershey's. Valentine's Day in America hasn't just been about romantic love, it's also been used to promote social causes. During World War II, Valentine's Day became an occasion to send cards and care packages to soldiers overseas. In more recent decades, organizations have used February 14th to raise awareness about domestic violence through the V-Day movement, or to promote heart health, since the heart is the symbol of both Valentine's Day and cardiovascular health. In simpler terms, Valentine's Day has sometimes been used to help society. During World War II, people sent Valentine's cards to soldiers. Today, some groups use Valentine's Day to talk about stopping violence in relationships or to teach people about keeping their hearts healthy. Expressions explained. Care packages are boxes of food, toiletries, and comfort items sent to people who are away from home. Domestic violence refers to violent or abusive behavior in a home or relationship. Cardiovascular relates to the heart and blood vessels. Can you think of any other social causes that might connect well with Valentine's Day? Why? Pause to consider your response. A possible answer might be Valentine's Day could connect well with causes related to self-love and mental health, teaching healthy relationship skills to young people, supporting lonely elderly people, promoting animal adoptions, giving pets loving homes, or fundraising for children's hospitals by sending love to sick kids. The tradition of Valentine's cards in America has evolved dramatically over time. The earliest American Valentines were handwritten notes. By the Victorian era, they had become elaborate creations with lace, dried flowers, and sentimental verses. The 20th century brought mass-produced cards, followed by electronic cards in the digital age. Interestingly, despite the rise of digital communication, physical Valentine's cards remain popular. Americans exchange an estimated 145 million Valentine's cards each year. More simply, Valentine's cards have changed a lot in America. First, people wrote them by hand. Later, cards became very fancy with lace and flowers. Then, factories started making cards. Now we have electronic cards too. But many people still prefer paper cards. Americans send about 145 million Valentine's cards every year. Expressions explained. The Victorian era refers to the period of Queen Victoria's reign, 1837 to 1901, known for certain social customs and artistic styles. Sentimental means expressing emotional feelings like love or nostalgia. Why do you think physical cards remain popular even in our digital age? Pause and think about your thoughts on this. A possible answer. Physical cards remain popular because they feel more personal and special than digital messages. You can hold them in your hand, display them in your home, and keep them as mementos. The effort involved in selecting, purchasing, or making, writing in, and delivering a physical card shows greater thought and care. Many people also appreciate the tradition and nostalgia associated with receiving a physical card. Valentine's Day in America has sometimes reflected larger social changes and movements. The rise of the women's movement in the 1970s led to more gender-neutral Valentine's cards and gifts. The LGBTQ+ rights movement has expanded the holiday to be more inclusive of all types of love. And in recent years, there's been growing emphasis on self-love and friendship on Valentine's Day, reflecting changing attitudes about singlehood and relationships. In simpler words, Valentine's Day has changed as American society has changed. In the 1970s, when women fought for equal rights, Valentine's cards became less focused on traditional gender roles. As gay and lesbian people gained more acceptance, Valentine's Day became more inclusive of all couples. Recently, people have started celebrating being single or loving themselves on Valentine's Day. Expressions explained, LGBTQ+ stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, and other sexual orientations and gender identities. Singlehood refers to the state of being single or not in a romantic relationship. How do you think Valentine's Day might continue to change in the future? Pause to consider your answer. A possible answer. Valentine's Day might become even more inclusive, celebrating all types of love and relationships. It might focus more on genuine connection and less on expensive gifts. We might see more emphasis on sustainable and ethical gifts, virtual celebrations for long-distance relationships, or new traditions that balance romance with social consciousness. The holiday might also incorporate more diverse cultural traditions as American society becomes more multicultural. Now let's talk about some quirky American Valentine's Day traditions. In Loveland, Colorado, yes, that's really its name, volunteers hand stamp and remail over 100,000 Valentine's cards each year with a special postmark. In San Antonio, Texas, couples can get married en masse at the county courthouse on Valentine's Day. And in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the local zoo allows people to adopt cockroaches named after their exes, a rather unconventional way to celebrate. More simply, some places in America have unusual Valentine's traditions. A town called Loveland puts special stamps on Valentine's cards. In San Antonio, many couples get married together on Valentine's Day. And in Milwaukee, you can name a cockroach after your former boyfriend or girlfriend. Expressions explained. En masse means in a group or all together. An ex refers to a former romantic partner. Unconventional means unusual or not following typical customs. What unusual Valentine's tradition would you create if you could? Pause and use your imagination. A possible answer might be, I might create a tradition where people write anonymous compliments for everyone in their workplace or neighborhood and post them on a community board. Or perhaps a gratitude dinner where friends gather and each person brings a dish representing something they're thankful for in their lives. Or maybe a future love letter tradition where people write letters to their future selves about what they hope to find in love and life. Finally, Valentine's Day in America isn't just for humans. Pet owners spend an estimated $700 million on Valentine's gifts for their furry friends. This growing trend reflects how many Americans consider their pets to be family members. Popular pet Valentine's gifts include heart-shaped treats, themed toys, and even pet-friendly wine. usually just colored water or juice in a wine-shaped bottle. Some pet owners even take their dogs on Valentine's dates to pet-friendly restaurants or parks. In simpler terms, many Americans buy Valentine's gifts for their pets too. They spend about $700 million on things like special treats and toys for animals. Some people even take their pets to restaurants or parks as a Valentine's Day activity. Expressions explained. Furry friends is an affectionate way to refer to pets, especially cats and dogs. When something is pet friendly, it means it welcomes or is safe for pets. Why do you think people buy Valentine's gifts for their pets? Does this make sense to you? Pause and consider your thoughts. A possible answer. People buy Valentine's gifts for their pets because they genuinely love them and consider them family members who deserve to be included in celebrations. Pets provide unconditional love and companionship. So many owners want to show appreciation for that bond. While pets don't understand the concept of Valentine's Day, they do enjoy special treats and attention. So both the pet and owner can benefit from the celebration. Whether it makes sense depends on your perspective to many pet lovers is perfectly logical. And there you have it, the fascinating evolution of Valentine's Day in America. From handwritten notes to digital greetings, from romantic couples to furry friends. Whether you love it or hate it, Valentine's Day has become a significant cultural phenomenon that reflects America's values, social changes, and yes, its love of commercialization. But at its heart, pun intended, the day remains a time to celebrate connections with the people and pets who matter most in our lives. I hope you've enjoyed this journey through the history of Valentine's Day in America. Remember, learning English is a lot like learning about love. It takes practice, patience, and a willingness to make mistakes. Keep listening, keep talking, and don't forget to tell someone you care about them in English, of course. This is Tales for Talking signing off. Until next time, keep your ears open and your tongues wagging.